Excavation Profits Podcast by Excavation Marketing Pros. Interviews with successful excavation and septic business owners, revealing how they market and grow their business in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they're doing to keep their phone ringing, equipment running, and businesses booming. Now your host, Scott Andreessen.
Okay, and so we are live, everyone, on the Excavation Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Andreessen, and today we have a very special guest with us, Ron Nussbaum of BuilderComs and published author of Buying for Exit. How are you today, Ron?
I am doing fantastic, Scott. It is great to be here in this skid steer. Like on the job site.
Yes, that's fantastic. So I'm glad to bring you on. And I think that this conversation we're going to have is going to be very fruitful for everyone. Communication with customers and team, we all know how critical it is. And I guess today you're going to help us learn how to simplify communication chaos with dedicated messaging channels to have customers connect easily with the right person, minimize the back and forth and all that, right?
100%.
Okay. So can we start off maybe just a little bit about you and your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got out of the Marine Corps in 2011, and I found myself in Michigan trying to figure out what was I going to do with the rest of my life. And I ended up in residential construction. I've done everything from digging the hose to running the company, and I absolutely loved it. But there was one thing I didn't love about it, and that was getting my ass chewed by customers. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. And through that time, like I said, I've done everything from digging the hose to running a crew to sales to management, leadership, running. I've touched every aspect of a residential construction company. So I really dove into this on why. Why do we have this problem? And it really correlated from a singular event where I was in a driveway getting my butt chewed in front of about 6 of my guys from a homeowner. And, when this is happening, you can kind of just kind of space out a little bit once it's happened so many times. And why I was there, I was running through my head why. Like, how did we get to this situation right now? And one thing I realized was, I had nothing to do with any of this. I have no idea what's going on. The homeowner is level 5 pissed off. Why? And I just happen to be the person that's taken the brunt of this. And I dove into that. And it all came down to communication. What I found was most of the time, homeowners weren't talking to the right people. Customers weren't talking to the right people. The team, the wrong people were being talked to. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. One night it hit me. I was laying in bed and it hit me, and I jumped out of bed. And I put together, I call it a haphazard at best PowerPoint presentation. I own a software company now, but I'm not like Mr. Software, so you can imagine what this looked like. And I went down the road of developing that software, and that software has become BuilderComs to today. And we help simplify what has been looked at as being very complex. So document management, communication, photo storage, the stuff that we just looked at it being really, really hard, and that we're just going to do it how we've always done it, whether that's handshake deals or documents laying around or phones full of photos. There's better ways out there, and one of the better way is BuilderComs, but that's what I do now. So I went full-time into this. I walked away from working in construction and decided I was going to work in service of construction, and I've become super passionate about that. I host Construction Champions podcast as well. I wrote Buying for Exit, and I'm really all in on moving the needle in the construction industry.
Very cool. So what specific, and you touched on a couple of these problems, communication for one, what other specific problems in the construction industry are being solved with BuilderComs?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the heart of it, we're a communication platform. That's what I built. That's the root problem. But by going to market, having users utilize our software, what we found out really quickly is we don't just do communication really well, we also do document management really well. So think about all those papers that are sitting on your desk or sitting in a truck that the homeowner needs to see, your team needs to be able to have access to it. We found out we really easily get that in one place and organize it for a project. And the same thing with the picture storage and photo storage or videos. We get that stuff really simply organized per project. I'm going to use simple a lot because I build a really simple software that's very intuitive. That's one of the biggest things we hear from our users. But one of the easiest ways to describe it is if Slack and Dropbox hooked up on a weekend and had a baby for the construction industry, that would be BuilderComs.
Yeah, that's good. Can you walk us through a little bit more of the development process you went through?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I was a grunt in the Marine Corps, and I'm a construction guy. Going to developers in 2020 when the market was hot and they had an influx of work to be done, I had a lot of people look at me and go, no, for one, you're not the guy to build this. You need to just continue doing what you're doing and stay in construction. And I was like, no, that's wrong. I called BS on that. I am the guy to build the software because this is my pain point. I might not understand software, but I understand this industry and I understand this problem. And I kept barking up the tree, and I got accepted into the 10X incubator. So 25,000 companies applied. We were one of 100 that got accepted. I'm one of 5 that have actually brought a product to market. That led me to meeting my co-founder, Jared Yeldon, who is has done a lot of SaaS work. He put 30,000 users on his other SaaS platform. And he looked at me and said, hey, Ron, you're the guy, and I want to build this with you. And we went down the road of developing this software. So not super easy to get to an ID, to an actual product that's in the market and being utilized, but we were able to do it and get it done.
Very cool. What were some of the challenges that you guys faced along that road of bringing this to market?
Yeah, so I'm bringing technology to an industry that's inherently about 10 to 15 years behind the rest of all businesses. So adaptation and understanding that we need to move to utilizing software, and the jadedness that comes from Silicon Valley. And a lot of guys that moved into construction software, I look at it as the construction industry we are inherently early adapters. We want the latest, greatest tools. That's evident by just looking at any of our trucks or what we drive or what's on our job sites. It's that's the stuff we want. There was a big push for construction technology a while back, but it was done by the wrong people that were taking software that wasn't designed for the industry and trying to make it work for the industry. And those early adapters that jumped in that, they really got jaded because they found out quickly, this just isn't going to work for my business. So fighting that narrative is, that I love breaking that down though. It's because I'm just a dude from the construction industry that builds software. I'm not from Silicon Valley. I'm not that's not us. That's not who we are as a company. So I would say that right there is some of the hardest aspects of bringing a software product to market in the construction industry is just fighting the old mindset of this is how we've always done it. It's been acceptable to shake somebody's hand, walk away, just have your documents laying around, having all these pictures on all your guys' phones, and problems happen, and we're one of the only industries that just say, "Ah, well, that's fine." Like, it's the construction industry. You can suck at communication. Like, to me, that's unacceptable. Like, how are we as an industry saying that the customer experience, like, the reputation's bad, so we don't have to be good at it? I don't believe that. I don't buy that. It's not what our customers want. It's not what they say at all. So the fact that we just look at it and say, hey, this is just how it's always been, is a major hurdle for doing anything new in the construction industry.
For sure. So what are some of the key features that BuilderComs offers that sets you guys apart from others in the construction industry?
Yeah, so where the magic really happens is that we're a niche software. Like, we're this communication document storage platform. I'm never going to build it into a CRM. I'm never going to build it into a project management software. We're going to partner. We're building out integrations right now, and that's all good. We're going to partner with the people that already do that stuff really good, and we're going to focus on doing what we do really good. And some of the stuff that sets us apart is our channels of communication. It works as air traffic control to make sure the right people are talking to the right people. So when that customer goes in there and they have a scheduling question, they're actually talking to the person at your company that's in charge of that schedule. They're not talking to the sales rep. They're not talking to Mary, the receptionist. Or, the worst case scenario is the foreman on the job site. Because that's what I used to run into all the time. Was the homeowner would be like, I don't know who to talk to. I'm going to wait till the crew gets here. And that's the worst possible time to be asking any questions, because chances are it's probably going to delay the job. We might have to order something different. And then next thing you know, the homeowner's pissed because the only person ever at fault is us as the construction company. And we need to be able to navigate that risk. And that's what the channels of communication does. And then we start creating this documentation record. 30% of all construction projects end in dispute with zero documentation by any party. BuilderComs starts to create a record of every interaction that you've ever had with that customer, the documents, the photos. We create this living, breathing record of what happened. Say you excavate a hole. Take pictures of it before you fill it back in or before you leave. So you have, the homeowner has it, you have it. There's clear expectations on what's happening on this job site and what has happened. So when that dispute arrives, if it does at that point in time, you now have documentation to be able to say, hey, here's what was talked about, here's what happened. Like, that's some of the magic that happens when you start utilizing BuilderComs.
Very cool. So that gives us a little example of a use case of, keeping records. Can you provide some other examples of how BuilderComs improves communication on construction sites?
Yeah, absolutely. So my very first user ever was, he felt like he was a really good communicator. He's like, he looked right at me and was like, hey, Ron, I don't think I suck at communication. I think my customers suck at communication. And I was like, all right, whatever, let bygones be bygones here, and let's see if this works for you. And he rolled it out because of one thing, is his customers wouldn't respond to emails or text messages because they thought it was somebody. He did real high-end renovations, $1 million renovations. So they just wanted it because they thought it was somebody that wanted to hang out after work or do whatever. And it's him, and he needs to know answers to stuff. And he's like, they're not communicating back. So starts using BuilderComs. Homeowners download the app, and now they get a push notification every time he asks a question. So that homeowner now knows when that BuilderComs notification goes off, that's a critical thing, and I need to get on there because this involves my renovation, my roof, my excavation job, whatever's happening on my property. I need to get back with them because it could be something that's time sensitive. So that's something right there that happens on every job site. How many times have we sent an email to a homeowner and it went in their junk folder and they never even received it, whether it's the bid or the invoice, the finer invoice where we want to get paid. Here it is. They haven't even seen it. Well, they get a text message and read it and say, hey, we'll get back to that later. And then they never respond because there's no sense of like order to what this is for.
Sure. What kind of feedback have you gotten from your users of BuilderComs?
So the number one thing that we get is that it's just a simple software to use. I get thanked all the time that it's just thank you for building something that's easy to use and easy to understand. Like you don't need hours and hours to learn it. It's just really simple to get in there and start utilizing it. So that's one of our biggest feedbacks that we get, and the biggest thing that people love about it.
Very cool. So no drastic changes to their business then?
What do you mean drastic changes?
Well, for instance, the learning curve you said is not extensive. They can get in and learn it right away. Do they have to make other changes within their business or systems or processes to make the most of this?
Oh, yeah. When we start talking about that, is implementing software in any business is a change. Change is hard, especially in the construction industry. So even though that it's super simple to utilize, people have to realize is like there's going to be some changes in how you do your stuff. We have guys that implement it during the sales process. Like it's one of the first things they implement because they go, hey, homeowner, I understand that communication's a problem and it's on top of mind for you. We made the investment into use BuilderComs, so all of our communication will go through here. You download the app, and that's how we'll communicate. But it's putting those systems in place and then holding a team to those systems. So it's just like anything. When you decide this is how we're going to do it, you have to stick to that. You have to say, hey, if it doesn't happen in BuilderComs, it doesn't happen. So simple to utilize, but we're still implementing software into your business. So understand that you want to look at what your systems look like and then work BuilderComs into that so that it makes sense for everybody.
That makes sense. So I bet you get a lot of feedback from your users. How do you incorporate that into new updates and features with BuilderComs?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this question because we actually just rolled out I don't even know the exact terminology for it because it's that new, but like a product roadmap. That's the word I'm looking for. It's
nice.
Where people can go on there and they can submit recommendations. And like the reason we're building out integrations is because we understand what piece in this software that is utilized on construction job sites, and we want to be able to talk with every other piece of software out there. I believe that we will be the one piece of software that connects the construction industry because I don't want to have to do everything. I really just want to do what we're really good at, and that came out of customer feedback. I talk to our customers. I'm still out there because here's my promise. Is I am going to build the best communication platform for the construction industry. I no longer work in construction. I have to rely on our users to give us the feedback that allows us to continue to evolve this in to what that looks like. Like I put out the piece of software that's, hey, here is what I need. This is what it looks like. Now, like, let's continue to grow this to where this becomes the absolute best communication platform and the thing that I believe a job site won't operate without BuilderComs within the next 5 years. Like, we're going to be this central hub that connects everybody on the project, from the customer to people in the office to the guys in the field. We connect the entire job site, and we can transfer this information where a picture is a picture no matter where it came from, or a document's a document, or a conversation's a conversation. And that's all coming from the feedback that we're getting from our users.
Very cool. So it's a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, and I think that's how it should be, because we're still at that point. Like, we can still evolve this and make changes and grow it and build it into what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, a 15-year-old software company. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds like that'd be really cool, but no, we're not making any changes because we have our product and this is what it is. And I believe you can look at software just like you can look at a house.
Mm-hmm.
You have a brand new construction house, it gets built, then it gets sold a few years later, another homeowner comes in, well, they immediately want to start changing stuff. And then 10 years down the road, it goes through a full renovation. Software can be that way if we let our customers help give us the feedback and direct where this goes. And then it also just guarantees us, like, I'm building the product for the construction industry. Like, I've been doing this now for a couple of years. Like, I'm out on job sites when I'm out with our customers and stuff and hanging out with them, or when I'm just out going, like, I'll just show up at job sites because I love that kind of stuff. And I like to talk to guys about what's happening out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't want to lose that connection for BuilderComs. Like, that's part of who we are.
That's great. Well, how does BuilderComs compare to its competitors in the communication software market?
Yeah, so from a communication aspect, we stand out because we do the three things that I talked about: the communication, the documentation, and the photo storage, all really well. Anybody that's in that niche construction software space don't do all three. And they don't do all three. Mostly they only do one really well. They don't manage to do all three of them. So that's where we really stand out between our competitors. And a major aspect of where we stand out is in our customer service, is our ability to be here. And we're a real company. Like, just think of us as a local construction company, but we just happen to sell software. Like, you can literally get my chief marketing officer on the phone. You can get myself on the phone. My wife she's the director of our customer service. Like, if you're having issues, you're talking to my wife. Like, we are that kind of company. That's part of our culture. It's part of what we're building because we're a software company. We sell a SaaS product, so we want to look that part because that matters. But when you really start diving into who we are as a company, it's like, oh, hey, well, I could have these guys could be out on my job site working alongside with us. So that's one of the things that really differentiate us from our competitors, because most of our competitors are very well-funded, venture-backed software companies. And that's not who we are. We're a software company, but you get Ron Nussbaum with that too.
Very nice. So what is the business model like for BuilderComs? And what I mean by that, are people paying an annual fee, a subscription? What does that look like?
Yeah, so all of the above. We work it out to what works best for the individual company. It starts at $97 a month. And then we also have annual packages that go up to $1970 a month. So a couple thousand, not a month, a year. So you can do it monthly, annually. We don't do like lock-in commitments. If we believe in providing a service and keeping you involved, but we do offer a big discount to do an annual program as well, and we're getting ready to actually, here in the next few days, next week sometime, we're going to be also rolling out another offer as well. That's going to be a very limited time offer to the guys that we have on the platform already. So $97 a month gets you in the door. It maxes out at $197 a month. Like, we're very simple with our pricing. We have two programs. 5 projects or less is $97. $197 is unlimited. And $970 annually for our 5 projects or less program, and then $1970 for our unlimited program annually. So that's our business model.
Very nice. Can you share some insights into your user base, how you're growing that, and then, what's your customer retention like of those that are using the software?
Yeah, so we'll start with the first one. Our user base is construction. Like, really, I know that seems generalized, but like from custom home builders to builders to remodelers to contractors to roofers to I don't think we have any just purely excavating companies on there. But pool companies, you can see some of the people we work with when you go to our website. So we really fit all demographics because at heart, we're just a piece of construction software, and we're not really pigeonholed into anything. We continue to grow our user base by doing stuff like this right here, getting out in front of our audience, continuing to network. Partnerships is a big one for me. I really do believe in partnering with the right people to get a win-win-win outcome. And how I say that is, like, if we can't come together and create a win for that construction company, what are we even doing? If we're the only ones winning out of it, to me, that doesn't make any sense. So I like to create a win-win-win outcome, make sure that construction company wins. And retention, we're about a year into this. We have guys that have been with us since day one. We have people that have been on here 3 to 5 months. And, we have people that get on here and find out in 90 days that it's not necessarily for them, or they are not really wanting to implement software. 70% of my users were one of the first technologies they implemented in their business. So There's a strong learning curve there, and we've learned to really understand how to walk alongside those users and help them do this. That's why earlier I addressed, you're implementing software, stuff's going to change. Procedures are going to have to change. And if you can get through that 5-6 months point, you'll never look at it. It'll be such a game changer for your business. It's really unbelievable when you break through that implementation process and everything's running really, really smooth with it. So we have a wide range. Like I said, we want to keep customers around. So we're ever evolving this software to fit the needs. Like we're not going to do one-off stuff, but we're listening, and if we're hearing stuff, we're going to figure out how do we work that into our product roadmap? What makes the most sense? So
very cool.
That's what we're doing.
So how do you, if they're you mentioned 70%, this is like their first use of this kind of technology. How do you hold their hand to help them make it through the learning curve?
So I have a lot of YouTube videos that I put out there, as well as, like I said, my wife is our director of customer success. We have wide open channels of communication over here to be able to reach out either through emails that we're personally sending. Like, this isn't like you go into some automated emails when you sign up. So we're going to be reaching out. We're going to provide all kinds of educational videos to watch, how to do it. We're doing an onboarding call, which can be 45 minutes, an hour of answering every question, walking through, getting accounts set up, going through that. And like, my wife is writing these emails and sending them out. Like, it's not like you get an automated email from my wife. And if it's something she can't answer, you're going to get a response from myself. So that's how we help walk through that. Like, we can't, well, I mean, if you're local to me, I can be out there helping you implement this in your business, but I can't be out there helping you implement it and forcing you to do it. It's just like anything. It's going to be uncomfortable to start using software because you've never done it before. But you just have to stick with it, and every day it's going to get easier and easier. And it's not because the software is hard. I think this is where the disconnect is for people. Is they think, oh, the software is hard. It's because you're changing a behavior. It's just like if you decided you were going to go to the gym every day. Or that's not even a good analogy. Let's just say you were going to take a different road to work because it's going to shave off 5 minutes. But every day when you come up to that intersection, you still want to go left when the new road takes you right. Even though you know it's going to be better, it's going to save you time, it's a better drive. Inherently, we want to go left.
Yeah.
And it takes a while before we don't want to go left anymore. And then once we're going right every day, you get more comfortable with that route. You understand it better. And then you become even more efficient at it. So now you have a faster way to get there and you become even more efficient at doing that. It becomes amazing. But too many people will stop with anything they're doing in their business. This isn't just software. This is like business talk now.
Yeah.
It's like we go back to taking the left because we feel it's just too hard, and I just don't want to go right because I haven't went right for the last decade. I've only went left, and we help hold that hand and we help get out there and put that stop sign up there and say, no, this is a right turn only. Like, do this. Like, if it does, pull the Band-Aid off and just say, hey, if it doesn't happen in BuilderComs, it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So what are some new features or updates that you guys are planning to release in the near future?
So, like I said, we're working through integrations right now. We're going to have we're working on four big CRMs that are going to be like one click, boom, bada bang, integrated, going every which way. Also building out a Zap, so that'll open us up to integrations with over 6,000 different pieces of software. We got some stuff that we're working on with AI as well, and not like AI from the aspect of like let it do everything for you. Just I look at BuilderComs as a tool. Like, it's a tool that should be on every job site, and all we want to do is make this tool better.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use AI to help our users just be better communicators, and that's as easy as putting in some red light, green light stuff on temperament from homeowners coming in, like clients. We can say, oh, hey, like this is red, and it'll pick up on stuff we don't even pick up on. And then being able to send the best messages. I mean, at the beginning of the day, I'm not the best speller and I don't have the best grammar. And when I put together this kind of stuff, like, it can be a cluster. Why not be able to just have AI rewrite our messages with the best tonement and be able to send them to the customer with all the grammar correct, and we deliver our best message and our best foot forward? That's where I see the tool going, is that we built the tool BuilderComs. Now we can really help guys and girls in the industry be better communicators by adding some resources in there that just make it as easy as clicking a button.
For sure. What have some of your biggest learning experiences been with starting BuilderComs?
So my biggest is we went to market under a different name. I don't even necessarily know. Like, it was just a miss. Like, it was like we tried to be too much of a software company, and I realized like I was uncomfortable with that because like that's not necessarily who I am. In September, October, we rebranded the company to BuilderComs. It got complete alignment. I wrote out like this manifesto of what I feel BuilderComs is. What do we represent? And now we're sticking to that. We were a top 20 startup at the International Builders Show this year in February, and I don't think that would have ever happened under the old brand. So that was one of my biggest learning curves, was like, just because we're a software company doesn't mean that we necessarily have to be like a software company. Mm-hmm. We need to present ourselves that way, but like we can have alignment with the construction industry as well. And I would also say, like, anytime you build something and you come from an industry, you just think that immediately, like, oh, everybody's going to get this and understand it. And I've had to be out here talking about it a lot more than what I would have thought to begin with, because this is like the number one customer complaint.
Right.
To me, it's a no-brainer, but we still have to get out here and we have to talk about it, and it's all branding and marketing. Like, software in the construction industry is 100% that, and it's just about building that brand and that recognition around it. And I way underestimated what it was going to take to do that.
Mm-hmm. Can you share any success stories or case studies from clients who've benefited significantly from using BuilderComs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll pivot back to our first user, because I find that story, how that story works, is so amazing, because that's not necessarily a reason, like a selling point. Like, I would have never been like, oh, hey, your customers will respond to you now. Like, I didn't look at that as being a selling point. His customers started getting back to it. It made him way more efficient when it came to completing projects. So he would be running over for a few weeks on just about every project. And he's been able to get that down to where he's not. It's a couple of days, and it's not because of the communication anymore. And now he has people saying that he's a great communicator, and they love how well that works. So that right there, to me, is an amazing win. And I'll say the next biggest case study is using it in the sales process. I came from operations. I looked at this as, once a project was sold, is when BuilderComs would be introduced. And I started hearing feedback from guys that were utilizing it, and they're like, you're wrong. Like, we've heard you say this a couple of times, you're wrong. This is one of the best sales tools we've ever had, because, for one, their competitors don't have it. Like, we're a newer company. Chances are your competitors are not using BuilderComs. So right now, we're a differentiator in that way. But they're like, we're able to address a customer concern without really bringing it up and just addressing it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I referenced earlier, is guys are out there in the sales process from the very beginning just saying, hey, I understand that communication's a concern. And it's right there in the back of your mind. Is like, what's going to happen after you write me this deposit check? Well, we use BuilderComs, so you don't have to worry about that. You're going to download the app. All of our communication will go through there. And the amazing thing is that it has the channels of communication. So when you have a scheduling question, you're going to be talking to the right person at our company. To me, that's amazing, because that's not even how I anticipated it being used. But here we go. Here we are. We have guys out there closing deals because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the customer is no longer sitting there going, I don't know about how we're going to be able to communicate. Like, is it going to be emails? Is it going to be text messages? Communication is such a disaster, and that's off the table.
Mm-hmm.
And when they compare the bids, who's a customer going to go with? The people that have put some thought behind how they're going to communicate with you, or the person that's like, hey, I'll shoot something over to you later today. They don't even tell you how you're going to receive it.
Sure. That makes sense. So how can people learn more about BuilderComs and get more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So BuilderComs.com is our website. If you really want to dive in and see how the software works and everything, like I said, our YouTube channel is a great spot to do that. I put all of our educational videos on there. Anytime anybody has anything, I make a YouTube video and put it up because I figure somebody else will probably have it. And that's where we all live. Like, if I have an issue, I go on YouTube. That's where we all go to figure out how to do stuff. So head on there. You can see the software. You can go on our website. You can set up a demo. You can sign up. We have a 30-day free trial as well, so you can get right out there and start utilizing the software. And then also set up an onboarding call with us. We're here to support you in your journey with BuilderComs. and vice versa. We want you to be here to support us in our journey with feedback as we continue to grow this.
Very cool. Well, guys, also don't forget the book, Buying for Exit. Very good information, easy to read, straightforward. I enjoyed it immensely. So get the book. Interested in BuilderComs, go to BuilderComs with one M, BuilderComs.com. Get your free trial. And it's been a pleasure, Ron, having you on the podcast. You shared a wealth of information. Thank you so much.
Scott, it has been fantastic, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. So with that, guys, I think we'll go ahead and bring the podcast to a close. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Hey there, excavation pros. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast and channel. Leave us your feedback and let us know how we did. And hey, if you're interested in taking your excavation or septic business to the next level online, make sure you visit excavationmarketingpros.com today and take advantage of our free resources and mastermind group for excavation and septic industry professionals.